but we have someone in the hot seat. The hot seat's warm.
Yeah.
It's cold outside, but the hot seat's warm.
Trust me.
Year 6, I signed for Luton. I didn't want to leave home. My mum didn't want me to leave home. Norwich are interested in you. They want to sign you. When an opportunity comes like that, I think it's very hard to turn down. Then my mum and dad are having a conversation with Chris Ewan, now the first team manager. And that sold her, because she knew I was going to be in good hands. I was playing football every day. I felt like a pro at under 14, 6 years, 7 years, however long down the line. Phil Foden scored ahead of me under 14, 15s. 3/4 of me knowing I'm probably going to get it. Called up for Republic Line, called up for Wales. Like, I was like, Mertz, like, I want to be playing. I know he's 23. So don't come to Czech Republic just to sit on the bench.
Down and watch,
like, But no, my first year was really good. It was really good. I remember but then we came back from tour, and my mate texted me. We had a mini bus pickup. My friend texted me going, he was the first pickup, and he was like, "Ferg, just to warn you, you might get a bit annoyed when you come on the bus." And I was like, "What are you talking about? And I was like, "There's a new keeper here." So I went into like, my scholarship, the induction meetings, thinking, "Oh, I'm the only keeper. I'm going to be the only keeper this season." But then on the first day of training, when we come back from tour, I opened the minibus door, and there was this boy sitting in the back, and he was the keeper. And they brought him in. When you brought him in on scholarship, he came from Scotland, so you have to give him a pro. If they come from another country, you have to give them a pro as well as their scholarship. So I was like, "Whoa, here's the competition now. Let's see what happened." So now and initially I thought, okay, I'm the only keeper here. Maybe the 16th keeper will be on the bench. They need me or whatever.
I'll get yeah.
There's
a bit of movement there.
Yeah, but then I thought, okay, no, I've got to hit the ground running.
Yeah.
Anyway, he didn't get a visa in time, so he couldn't play for the first 6 months. And then he done his back, so he couldn't play for the back end of the next 4 months. So I think my first year I potentially played 85% of the games for the whole first year.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Perfect.
But that first year, so that's how it planned out. But with the November of my first year, I got picked for Wales under 19s at the Euros.
Oh, you're kind of all over. You're touring UK.
Yeah. So the thing is, the Wales thing was difficult because we went to a training camp before, and there was another keeper who played for Everton at the time.
For who?
Everton.
Okay, what's his name?
His name was Aaron Jones. He was a guy. He doesn't play for them now. I think he plays. I don't know where he does. I think he's somewhere in Wales. But so we went to a training camp, trained, done well. Called me back, and that Wales experience was the best experience I could ever.
What age were you when you had this experience?
I was under 17s, but
your first year.
I went away with the year above, so I was away. I'm a 99.
All right.
I was the 99 going away with the 98s.
Yeah.
So that was what
Tyler Roberts.
Yeah.
Ethan Ampadu. Yeah, under 90. Ethan Ampadu. Tyler Roberts,
isn't it?
Ben Woodburn, Cole de Silva, Matthew Smith.
This is when Cole was cold.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. So we had a top team, and I remember thinking again. I'm from Norwich. Like these boys, maybe someone from West Brom, Everton, or whatever, but they're pushing first team. Like I'm just a scholarship keeper. I'm not even playing 21, 23s at the time. Like, I'm just a scholarship keeper. But I was like, you can't show that. You can't show any nerves or any this has to be, take this opportunity, go. Went to the training for a couple of days, a weekend or whatever. Then got called up for the championships. And I remember that from the moment off where you get picked up from your house in like a minivan, and they drive you to Bangor, Wales, which is 4 or 5 hour journey. It's a long way from East London. And so you're in your Wales kit and you're going and you make up at this 5-star hotel with swimming pools, jacuzzis, and we were away I think when you're away for Euros, you're away for it was the qualification, so I was away for about 2 weeks from home, and you have no time to be nervous. Mm-hmm. You have no time to go, "Oh, who are you? Nice to meet you," and let that friendship kind of build over 4 days. The friendship has to be straight in because you're there. Like you probably get about 12 o'clock. You're trained in at 3 o'clock. Got another train session the next day probably. Then you got the match on the third day, and so you have no time to be Mr. Nervous. You have no time to go in there and be hesitant. You have to go there all guns blazing and be Mr. Confident. Otherwise, you'll get found out because you can't play nervous.
Yeah.
You can't play with boys around you you're not comfortable with.
Yeah.
Like it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
But we played our first game, then we played Greece. We lost 2-0. And our group was Greece, England, Luxembourg. We lost our first game 2-0 to Greece, and we knew that the truth was we needed to win most of our games. Like we lost to Greece, now we have to beat England and we have to beat Luxembourg to have any chance.
Yeah.
And the England team was a joke back then. But I have finished that Greece game, and even like when between games, the intensity of it when you have a meeting for about an hour and a half, analysing training sessions, analysing the opposition, analysing yourself. You're drinking like shots of beetroot juice to get your muscles going. You're having like 6 tablets at morning, tablets at lunch, tablets at dinner. And Norwich was good. Norwich was category 1, they were good, but not that like
this is
intense. This was like mad. Like, it's beetroot juice, and I don't even like beetroot, but you like this purple just and it was just like
you can taste it now.
Yeah, and it's just like grim, but it did make you feel good. Like even ice baths. I don't mean it's ice baths for like 5 minutes. Like everyone had to go in the same like the hotel room, so the little bath in the hotel room. Everyone had to line up in the corridor, wait there. So if you're at the back of the queue, you're waiting there for a long time, an hour and a half, waiting for everyone to get in and out. But yeah, no. Then we had our middle game. Our second game was England. I know as this was all based in Wales.
Yeah.
So we went to a little stadium called Bangor. It was a little stadium, nice stadium. But it was just packed.
Yeah.
Packed with Wales fans. Packed. And I remember like looking to my right, and I'm seeing Tom Davis, I'm seeing Ryan Sessegnon, I'm seeing Trevor Chalobah, Aaron Ramsdale, like Steffi Mavididi, like Nemet Shah. Like their team was just, if you look now,
they're all pros.
Just pros, pros. Like Trent Alexander-Arnold.
Yeah.
I don't know how I missed that and that list. But yeah, he was like, it was like, you're looking up. We have a good team.
Who was the keeper? That keeper, Aaron Ramsdale.
Now it's like, gone for whatever, 20 mil, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And we went onto that pitch and thinking, we're going to try, but it's going to be difficult.
Yeah.
But because we had that cohesion, because we had that close-knit group, because everyone had been together since like that nation, those
under 14s, under 15s, yeah.
Like I could have been part of that, and maybe I'd have had a better. Like I would have been glued in there, like properly.
Yeah.
But they warmed me in, they welcomed me, and then we went 1-0 up, thinking, well, like we might actually win this. Like we scored a penalty 1-0, half time it's 1-0. Then we made it 2-0 straight half time, thinking, oh my god, but we actually
got a chance.
Then Trent Alexander run down the right wing. He goes to whip a cross in and gets deflected off my left back. It's one of those that's looped right in the end. I'm thinking, I'm not getting back in time for this, and it's just hit the back post and just rolled in. I'm thinking that kind of looks bad, but it's one of those ones where if you're a keeper, you know that a slight deflection is taking you. So then it's 2-1. You're thinking, all right, we're in for a battle here.
Yeah.
And I remember they ran through on goal. Can't remember who it was. Martel, Taylor Crosdale, maybe. But Calder Silva was chasing him, and they're both Chelsea players. And Martel went down. I think it was Martel. I might have got it wrong, but somebody went down, and Cole was there like, you dived. This referee gave the pen. And you're thinking, oh no, this is just going from bad to worse. Like, Trent Alexander-Arnold steps up, buries me. It's 2-2. Now you're thinking about 20.
Martel, he's a 99.
Yeah. Now you're thinking with 25 minutes to play. You're thinking you might get slapped 3-4-2 here. Like, but then
who put the penalty away?
Trent. Yeah. I can't.
Yeah.
That's sweet, right? For as you can see.
Yeah.
But no. And then we went up. About 2 minutes later, I had a goal kick, and I pinged it up to Tyler Roberts, and he flicked it on, and he ran down the right hand side. He crossed it in. We've scored. We've made it 3-2. About 20 minutes to go, and we're like 20 minutes now to hold on.
Straight dig in.
And then they have a man sent off. I don't know if boys with Man United. Rashawn went to centre back.
Rashawn Williams.
Yeah. Went to Shrewsbury.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So he got sent off, and now you're thinking, all right,
possibly now
we could do this.
Yeah.
Last 10 minutes was just pressure. I remember
from them or for you.
From then, because they got to make it 3-3.
Yeah.
So we just back to the walls. 10 of us back, including me, 11 of us back. And I remember getting a cross right at the end and just plucking out my crossbar and just taking it down. All the boys just come over and start, probably about 8 of them come over and start smacking me on the head. Like, come on. And at that moment, just thinking, oh my God, like we're going to do it. And I just booted it down the pitch. Referee blows the whistle and everyone just jumped. Like the fans just went mad. I've never experienced it before.
Yeah.
The fans went mad. Everyone was jumping on each other. And it was just like, wow. Like, this
Moment.
is why you play football.
Moment.
Like, My family were there. Went over to my family, just like grabbed them. And they say today that was the happiest you've ever seen you. Like that was the happiest you've ever seen you after that game. I couldn't stop smiling. Like it was like amazing. And I remember the ball boys came up to me, one of the ball boys, and he goes, "Oh, can I have your gloves?" I was like, "Nah, mate, I need these. Like, I need these for the next game." And he was like, "Oh, can I have your shin pads?" I was like, "Oh, forget it. Why not?"
Yeah.
So I pulled out my shin pads and I've given them to this kid. And I've walked in just buzzing, blah, 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 happy days. Then we have our next game against Luxembourg. And I'm checking through my bag and I'm going, where the hell are my shin pads? Because I was on such a high that day, I was like, I'll do anything. Like, what do you want? Yeah. I'll take anything.
What,
and then
socks, what do you want? Take it.
Anything.
Yeah.
And then, so I've just, and then I'm checking. I was like, oh my God. I had to run up to Kitman. I was like, please tell me you got spares. And luckily, he got spares. Yeah, that Luxembourg game smashed them like 6-1 or whatever.
All right.
We're class that day. And then we didn't actually qualify because back in then, the rules were ridiculous. We finished on 6. England finished on 6. Greece finished on 6. So Greece had beaten us in Luxembourg. England had beaten Greece and Luxembourg.
Yeah.
And we'd beaten England and Luxembourg.
So whoever had the most wins.
No.
So what it went on, I think we had the most goal difference. Because we absolutely annihilated Luxembourg. We had the best. So in theory, we should have won.
Yeah.
But what they did was they eradicated the Luxembourg game. So then it just became the results of
because everybody beat Luxembourg.
Oh.
So it only became on us 3. And we became third.
Yeah, that's proper
They
stupid.
came last.
because we only beat England
That's proper
1-0, while
stupid.
Greece beat us 2-0.
Yeah. So they went through.
So we came third. We didn't even get
England didn't go through that.
No, I'm saying that's it. They didn't go through. That's what I mean.
No, England is also didn't go through
No,
that.
they did.
Did they go?
England.
Didn't Greece? I thought it was Greece that went through.
Yeah, England. It was Greece and England.
Oh,
of them
both.
went
Oh,
through.
the
Yeah,
top
and we
two.
didn't even
Top
get.
two,
We
yeah.
didn't even get top 3. We didn't get third best qualifier.
Third best qualifier. Yeah.
Didn't get anything. Like
Stitched.
it was one of those moments. We were standing on a pitch, like, talking to our sports scientists, like checking this, updating the table. Like there's something got to be wrong, and we went into our change room at the end, and our coach was like, "Boys, like you deserve it. You're the best team out of this. You should have won that thing.
Oh, we got stitched.
But you've been, I've been proud of you, and that you all should be so proud of yourself." And I remember an article came out on BBC Sport, and it said, "Wales is future generation."
That's big.
And it was me, it was Matt Smith, Ethan Ampadu, Tyler Roberts, and it was like, my part was like, he's represented Ireland, he's represented England, but now he's looks like he's going to wear the lion in his heart for whatever, or the dragon on his crest for however long.
Yeah.
And
So they were looking at you for being there for a long
and they
time.
were looking at all of us going, this is the group that's going to go. And most of them have. Like Tyler Roberts has made his Wales debut. Matt Smith has made his Wales debut. Like Ampadu's made his Wales debut.
Yeah.
And like Cameron Cox is still playing with a boy. Harris is at Cardiff. He's still playing.
Yeah.
Nathan Broadhead for Everton. He's still playing.
He gets minutes.
Yeah. So, and most of them have. And, I could have been that. But
What was the tournament? The 99 tournament? Or okay.
Yeah,
I was thinking, what's
it was.
I know it's 2000.
But it's under 19s, isn't it?
Well, Rabbi's 2000, isn't it?
Yes. I was going up. No, actually, it was 98. I was playing up a year.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So I was playing.
So
that's what messed
what's
you
his
up.
name was 98, you know?
Who?
Dan James.
He wasn't in the setup then, was he?
No,
Was it because Dan James was 98 though, no?
He wasn't
but
in
was he in the setup?
I don't know
then?
if he's 97. Dan James.
So Dan James was 98.
But was he in the setup though?
I don't know. That's what I'm asking.
He was in. He was in our
wasn't
team.
in the
No,
setup,
he
okay.
wasn't in
I
our
don't think
team.
so.
But that was. Do you not know? That was the year England won it. That England 19s team went and won the whole European. They didn't lose a game.
Okay.
And we were the only team through
To beat
qualification.
beating them,
to the only ones who beat them. And that's
Okay.
how much of a
Big thing was to
compliment
them.
it was for us.
100%.
So I done that. Obviously, came back from that buzzing. Unfortunately, there was no other games for under 19s team for
Okay.
the rest. And then the whole coaching staff got sacked.
At
Wales.
Wales, all right.
So Garrett Williams, the boys all brought me in, and one of them now works for Man City Ladies as their manager. But they all got sacked at the end of the day, and but there was no games for the rest of the year. I went back to Norwich. I was playing well, really enjoying it. Like not too much happened that first year. I played youth cup. We lost in the quarterfinals to Spurs, and I remember losing that game. And Greg came up to me and Max, who sat next to each other in the change room because he was right back. So 1-2.
1-2, yeah.
Came up to us and he was like, "You two, I'm so proud of you two. Even though you've lost this game, you two but the two best players on that pitch, including Tottenham, like you two were the best. Now you look at to see what Max is achieving. Do you know what I mean? So throughout my career, I was always kind of on par, given the same praise as people have gone on to achieve big things. So yeah, first year came and went as it does. A very, very intense and quick year but like scholarships are amazing. Like remember Ricky Martin, like right at the start of our scholarship, came into when I was at first year. He came in and he said, "I'm upping the money this year for your wins. I'm going to put it from 30 to 50. I'm going to take your draws from £10 a draw to a £30 draw because like I believe in this group. I believe you're going to win a youth cup. I believe like we had a good team. Like we beat Chelsea that year 4-3 at home. Like not to be done before. We beat Chelsea. Like we had a very good team, and yeah, that first year was like with Wales and everything was probably one of my best years in football. I loved it, both on and off the pitch because I was at Diggs now. And I loved it. I loved it because I was at a Diggs family. I got kicked out of my first Diggs. So I'm honest, for bad behaviour. I didn't get along with my Diggs lady. I got kicked out. But then a teacher from my school, because I went to a boarding school, a teacher from my school said, "Look, we live in Wyndham. Like we can take you in." And so I was with somebody who I
kind of knew you and you knew them. Yeah.
I had respect for them. They could let me do what we had because you have curfews at 10 o'clock, but I could stay out till when I want. I could do really what I wanted because they gave me that freedom. They had 2 little kids, so it was like a little family.
Yeah.
But on and off the pitch, things were fantastic in my first year. And I came back to my second year, and obviously the other goalkeeper now has got his visa. He's fit. He's now ready to play. But I'm thinking I've played like 85% of games this year. Like I should be fine. Like he's got nothing on me.
Yeah.
We went on tour to Ireland, and like they ran out the numbers before, and they were like the other keeper number 1, Fergal number 13, and there's a keeper. You know, if you're number 13, you're second choice.
Yeah, definitely second choice.
100%.
So, but anyway, he's played the first game. They won. I played the second game. We won. It was Ireland. Like, the tour wasn't full of super names, but I was just playing well. And I think he knew I was playing well. So the gaffer kept coming up to me going, after the first game, he was like, "Fergal, like, brilliant today." Without doing anything, without making ridiculous saves, he was like, "Your presence in that team just makes them all just vroom." And he was like, "I'm so proud of you." Next keeper played the next game. He got injured. Again, something, his ankle or whatever. So then I played the 4th game, the last group game. And then the manager come up to me and goes again, like, he was like, "I know I gave you number 13 shirt, but you're proving me wrong. You're proving like everyone." I don't even know it was him. I'll be honest. I don't know if it was him or him being told.
Shut up, man.
To say what he said.
Do you know what I mean? Because at the time, it was Alex Neil was the manager, and the other keeper was Scottish, and he'd come from the same club that Alex Neil had come from. Hamilton.
Alex Neil was the first team manager, wasn't he?
Yeah, Alex Neil, the bald-head one.
Yeah,
He's at Preston now.
Preston now. Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe I don't know if it was my manager. David Wright was the manager at that time, and I don't know if it was his choice or not.
Yeah.
But he was like, "I'm so proud of you." And they just sat there down next to me, like, kept going, "Proud of you, keep doing it." We got to the final of that tournament. We lost 1-0 in the final. Then we went back. It was the first league game, and I started. And we played Spurs away. We lost 4-0. But I had the best game of my life. Like, I remember there's a goalkeeper called Richard Lee. He used to play for Watford, and he DM'd me after the game, going, "I was at the Spurs game, and I just wanted to," without me ever knowing him, not following any social media. He just messaged me going, "You're incredible. Like, you were absolutely fantastic today." And it was a guy that played well, even though we lost 4-0. Probably bad than the goalkeeper, but I'd done okay.
Yeah.
Then we had another game against Brighton. We lost 1-0 at home. Again, there wasn't much to do in that game. Like when you play Brighton, it's not like a game that's end to end. It's just like very cagey, 1 goal, whatever.
Yeah.
Then you played Chelsea at home. We lost 4-0. And at this point, I've conceded 9 goals in 3 games. I'm kind of thinking, right, I might get dropped for the next game.
Yeah.
We played Villa in the next game, and obviously on Thursday, Friday, when you're in training, if you're starting. I weren't. They put John in for that game, and we won 3-1. But he made a mistake. It was a shot from like 30 yards, it went straight in the middle. And I remember talking to my boys. My boys were my best mates.
Yeah.
They were cool with him, but I had been around that team for so long. So they were honest to me. They were like, "Ferd, now you're betting this guy like a million miles." Mm-hmm. He's like, "I know we won 3-1, but that goal went straight in the middle. Like, I should have saved it."
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. But in my head, I'm thinking, they're not going to drop him because they've won the game. Yeah. Like, it's a bit silly. If he's made a mistake. Yeah. We played. The next game was Swansea at home. and they lost 6-0. And if you lose 6-0 to Swansea at home, there's question marks.
You know what time it is.
And I remember him making a few mistakes. And I'm thinking, here's my opportunity. Like, I have to play the next game. Like, he's made a mistake in each of the games. I have to play.
Yeah.
So anyway, the next week comes, lead up to the game. Can't remember who we're playing. But I'm not in the squad. I'm not playing again. Because we did this thing where it was 11v11.
You're not in the team or you're not in the squad?
In the team.
Okay.
But we're doing this 11v... Because we're doing 11v11, we play the under-16s.
Yeah, shape work and that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was a goal for the under-16s. So I'm like, I know that. I'm not.
So you know you're not starting.
I know I'm not starting.
Mm.
So I turned around and I booted all the water bottles. I turned around and I smacked them. And that was my breaking point, you know? I was just kind of like, that's me now, that's me done. I just smacked these bottles right in front of the psychologist who was there. And he comes around and Dave Wright, he's going, so do you want to play? What? I'll put you in goal and blah, 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 blah. And I just ignored it and just walked off. And I remember at the end of that day, because it's not in my nature to get angry, I'm normally like, hold it in, I'm composed. I remember texting him going, like, Gaffer, like, I'm sorry for doing that. And he texted me back going, it's fine, mate, but the only person it affects is you. Which wasn't really the response.
Making the situation even worse now.
It was kind of like putting more fuel to the fire where you're thinking,
wow,
what are you thinking?
What a response.
Yeah. So anyway, then, I didn't play in a few games. So I've then turned up to his office and I said, look, what can I do?
Yeah.
I turned up to him. I said, look, standing on the top of the step, if you're being coined, there's steps leading up to somewhere there used to be. I'm standing there. I said, Gaffer, can I have a word? So he's opened the port academy door. He's come outside. He's standing outside. And I said, what do I need to do to play? Like, what can I do to play? And he goes, you don't fit the criteria of a Norwich City goalkeeper. Or you don't fit the profile of a Norwich City goalkeeper. And I'm just thinking, what does that mean? I'm released then? Does that mean...
Yeah.
If it's the profile...
What does that mean, yeah?
And he was... Yeah, and he was...
political answers there.
Yeah, and I remember sitting there, he was going, yeah, like I've been told. He's like, I've been told you don't fit this. You don't fit the profile. I've been told this. He didn't take responsibility coming from him. He kept going, been told this. Yeah. I've been told that.
Sounds good though.
Sounds brilliant.
So I walked away. I've parked in a Waitrose car park down the road, and I was talking to Anis Mehmeti, who's now at Wickham, because he was there. I took him into training, and I was like, he's a good man. I was like, bro, like, I don't know what to do. He's like, I don't understand. Like, you're miles better than the guy. Like, I don't know what they're talking about. So I called my goalie coach. He's not picking up his phone. I'm texting him, going like, Tom, like, can I have a chat with you? I've been told something that I just didn't expect happening. And the hardest part is, when I in that pre-season, when I come back, Tom and the first thing goalkeeper coach Ed Wootton had said to me, they said, sat me down in a meeting, this is before, just come up on tour, maybe after my first game in Tottenham, he said, we're so proud of you. Like, you're proving everyone wrong, like, your height, you're making saves, like, you're on path to get your contract here. Like, we're really, really, really proud of you.
So they've already given you that boost, like, indirectly.
And so this was tough. Like, when he told me that, I was just kind of like thinking, what am I going to do now? Like, I don't know what to do. And I'm texting the goalie coach going, what's going on? Like, can you call me? I didn't really get a response from him. Like, I get along with the goalie coach. I was like, why now? When I need you, like, you're not there for me. Like, I need you to tell me. So I call my dad. I'm like, Dad, he just told me this. And I'm like, Dad, like, what should I do? And my dad was like, this is like, they can't tell you a 17, 18, I think I might have been 17 or just turned 18. They can't tell an 18-year-old boy that everything he's done since he was 6 years old is not good enough, not in front of his parents or not in front of somebody. It's just you and the coaches. Yeah. Like, you need someone who's on your side, who's going to back you or have an argument for you. And
that is the welfare.
I didn't have anything. He was like, what about if you went home, you were so angry you crashed your car? Because you know what? I'm in Norfolk, I'm in country roads, I'm in this, I'm in that. And yeah, and it was tough. And it was made worse, and I've missed this out, I've completely slipped my mind. But when I was in my first year, towards the back end of my first year, Norwich come up to me and they said, look, we've been in contact, City of League 2 want to sign you. This is the back end of my first year, so I'm going back in time a bit.
Yeah.
They said the Exeter want to sign you. And I was like, what do you mean? They're like, well, they want to see you first, and then basically they haven't got a goalkeeper, so they want someone who's going to push the first team goalkeeper, go in as like a number 2, number 3, work with the first team, but also plays like 18s reserve team football. And I said, I was like, right, okay, let me see what it's like.
Yeah.
It was at the end of my first year. Well, because I knew John was on a pro, and I knew the other goalkeeper John was on a pro. I knew. Let me see my options here. If you're letting me go, if you're letting me do it,
let me have a look.
Well, it's not like you're saying no. Like, don't do it. If you're saying no, you really, really want me. If you're letting me do it, then I was like, okay, let me do it. So I've gone to Exeter, played well. The keeper there was Christy Pym, who now plays Peterborough. I was training first team, and the goalkeeper was like, yeah, you're really good. Like, really good. The boys are coming up to me after sessions going, like, how the hell have you, like, how are letting Norwich letting you go? Like, you're not good, like, not good enough
for them
for this cat free. Like, what the hell are you doing here? So that week that ended that week came, we played like some school and we won like 11-0. And the academy manager came up to me and my dad, and we met us at a meeting with the 18s manager, and he was like, look, technically you're the best keeper here, including the first team goalkeepers. Like, we've never seen anything like it. And I'm thinking, okay, this is only going to go well. And then he was like, but the only problem is your height. Now, the problem here was they knew my height. They obviously know I'd sent them with a fact file. They knew my height from ages. They knew that I was 178 or whatever I was. So if that was an issue,
why am I?
like,
why waste my time?
Why are you saying this? Why am I here for 2 weeks or whatever? Because I was staying at my grandparents' house. They were down there, travelling in, which was like a 45-minute journey. Like, why have you done this? They're like, look, you're that good. Most of the time, we wouldn't take someone who's this small. Like, this doesn't fit, like, what we think a goalkeeper should be. But we want to work with you. Because Christy Pym, I don't know if you guys know him, but he's not that small. He wasn't much taller than me, but he was just wide.
So
very, very wide.
All right.
And he was like, look, we've done it with Christy Pym. If you give us this, like, some time, we might be able to develop you. They're like, but we want you to come back in pre-season, just to have one more last look at you. Because Norwich were asking for, obviously, they had to take over my wages, which were Cat 1 wages compared to Cat 3 wages. So there's a lot of complications to it. They were paying their whatever, to the compensation and whatnot. Because I still had a year left of my contract. But I'd then gone back to Norwich, and I was like, okay, I'll go back for that in the season. So I've met up with the first team goalie coach at Stansted Airport, and I'm saying, he was like, how was Exeter? I said, yeah, it was good. Like, they want to see me again in pre-season. Like, if you don't mind me going, like, and he was like, no, you're not going. And he was like, you're not going. Like, we want you here. We want you to challenge. Like, we see a pathway for you here. We see this. We see that. So we came out of that meeting. Me and my dad were like, yeah. They were like, we compare you more to Aston, who's 2 years above me, 23's keeper, than John. Like, we compare you to that. That's your more competition. So I'm thinking, right, there's a pathway here. Like, I respected Aston. He was one of my good mates. I knew he was a good keeper, and he was going to be tough to overtake. But I'm willing to do it. If I can have another year at Cat 1 level, another solid year under 18s Cat 1, where I'm playing maybe a few 23s games in there, why not? Like, let me focus on my development here. And then at the end of the year, maybe I'll go somewhere else.
Yeah.
All right.
But he was like, no. So I've come back, and as I explained earlier, the tour, the few games, the Swansea game, and I've gone to speak to a manager, and he's like, you don't. But this is all within the space of 6 months. From them not wanting me to go to Exeter, from them having these meetings saying, you're pushing your contract, you're going to get your contract, you're proving everyone wrong, to now, you're not getting it.
So that the gap between that from the Exeter to
6 months maximum,
and then
not even that, because what you think?
A year to that, 6 months to
was
that
the Wales.
Wales. I think it was released in November, so maybe it was 13 months.
Yeah,
so
just over a
great.
year. Within 13 months, I've gone from playing a year up I was playing a year up for my international team. It's not even I was playing my own age. I was playing a year up, starting.
It's mad how things can just change that quick. But
then
that's go on. Let me let you finish.
But then the one thing you look back on and you go to myself now, what changed? The only thing that changed was the academy manager. And this is why football is so fickle and so opinionated.
Of course.
Like,
so
he sat.
Martin left.
So Ricky Martin had left ages ago. It went from Ricky Martin to then Greg took over for the academy manager.
All right.
Then we had Richard Money. I don't know if you guys know him, but he's a very headstrong person. Right. And I managed to change his mindset on me. But Steve Weaver came on.
Steve Weaver is a size guy.
He came in and gave me no opportunity.
Yeah.
Like, no opportunity.
Steve Weaver is a size guy. I've come across him a couple of times.
Yeah,
Guy.
he didn't give me any chance, and that's why they told I was released in November, December time because I wasn't given a chance under him. Like they sacked. I think he got rid of like Darren Huckabee in the coaching staff.
Oh, is that when the coaching stuff started to change?
I remember I was really close to the head of transport and the head of education, and one day we went into education to go to do my work, and they weren't there. We were like, where the hell are they? And some intern who came in, and we got on with him as well. Like, where are they? He was like, oh, last night they got texts at like 6 p.m. at night saying they need to meet with HR at 9 o'clock this morning. They both been sacked for that. So they had a text saying, come here to the stadium.
Some power trip.
No, but that's what happens. Yeah. You want to take out some of the old.
To bring in some of yours. Yeah.
But then he brought in everyone from Huddersfield. Everyone from Huddersfield. But you look at the boys making their debuts now for Norwich. Ben Godfrey.
All the ones that've been there.
Greg.
Yeah.
Jamal Lewis, Greg. Matt Zaron's Greg. Adam Ido, Greg.
All the ones that's been there.
Like, I can't say to them it's work. Like, Teresa Montoya.
So what about Ida? Ida was Greg as well.
Yeah, because Ida came over when he was under 15, 16s, but he was only come over like once a month because from Ireland. Yeah. It was Greg. And Greg knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
Greg knew a talent. He's the most he helped me so much in my development. And when I got released, I went to a pub in Cambridge and he met up with me and my dad with his wife and his just newborn kid. He was about a week old.
Yeah.
And he took his time out to come see me. And I was like, speaking about things, and that he was honest. Steve Weaver never spoke to me. My dad went up the next week to go speak to Steve after the manager told me I don't fit the criteria, and he was like, "Yeah, this is what happens in football. Like, I'd honestly tell you to take the non-league route. That's the best pathway for players nowadays." What? Just filling a load of rubbish, like rubbish that he didn't believe himself. If I'm honest. Because the non-league route, there is talent there. You can be done, but it's really hard, especially for a keeper. Yeah, Nick Pope probably done it. But
it's really hard. It's hard, and the kind of kicking and things you're gonna get as a keeper,
you're gonna get boosted.
But even for my size, so I was thinking to myself, like, you're telling me my size is my problem, but you're telling me not to go to Spain, not to go to Italy, to go non-league. Like,
what kind of silliness is that?
It was just a very generic answer, anyway.
Just and that's basically he's just coming in with his own method, his own ideas. You don't fit his ideas, and the fact that he's got rid of all the stuff, that sounds like some sort of insecurity there. Because that sounds a bit mad.
But but it shows though when these guys go into these jobs and the power, that they want to come over.
Definitely.
So then, what happens now then, folks?
Yeah. So this was December, November, and I went. I in my head, I lost love for football. Like as generic and as cliche, I just hated. I loved watching the sport. Hated playing it.
Taking part. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it's one of those things. Where
Did you carry on going training?
Yeah, I went training every day. I was training 7 times a week.
Oh wow!
I wasn't going
even after the decision.
Yeah, I wasn't going home at points. There was times where I was training. I'd train 23s first team in the morning, and then a bit of 18s. Then I'd go. Sometimes I'd train. I'd have my lunch, and then I'd train under 16s just in the afternoon. And I told my academy goalkeeper coach, I said, "Look, can I help you out and take the under 12s and 13s?" So I started coaching under 12s and 13s.
Keepers.
I was like, why am I doing this? Like, I was there we started education at 8:30, and these young kids out at school, obviously they were coming in at 6 o'clock at night. I was even training from 8:30 to 8 p.m. at night, getting the same pay if I was just at school.
What you was doing,
I was doing coaching. I was training with everyone, trying to do as much as I could. So I was just training. But I think that was always me. Like, always, if someone said, do this,
Were you doing that for yourself, or were you doing that in a way to think maybe were you trying to persuade heads there?
It was nothing. No, it was nothing to do with them. It was all to do with me. But I think, like I said, I think that's always been. I haven't got an ego. Like, I like to think I'm a very down to earth person. Like, I'll talk to anyone. And I'll have this conversation. I'll do anything for anyone. Like, even my first year, won the games. Maybe my second year, I was on the bench for the 18s, and they told me to go play 16s as a second year keeper, and I was like, really? I don't really want to do this. Like, I really don't want to do this because the 16th keeper injured. I went over, I played well. Like, I went onto the pitch and thought, no, I'm just going to play. Like, I haven't played in ages.
Yeah. As
a second year, I was just like, let me play. And remember that Monday, I come back to training, the 16th manager was there. And he said, come here first. He was like, I know you whatever's happened, but I'm so proud of how you've come into the 16s, you played. like with no arrogance, nothing. You just played your football.
Yeah.
So I think that's always been in my DNA, just to kind of get on with things, no matter
how it goes.
Yeah, just accept things and get on with it. So yeah, then I was kept on training. Yeah, as I said, first team some days, 23 some days. Whoever needed a keeper, I was there doing it. Never injured. That training like New Year's Day or Christmas Day sometimes, or whatever was needed to do. I was there to do it. And then we played Arsenal in February in that Premier League Cup, it was called. And they were like, Fergs, like, we need you to play. This guy's injured, this guy. So I went to play. And I got injured in the first 30 minutes. I got internal bleeding in my thigh, which completely messed up my leg. I was out for about a month. And you got to remember the whole FA Youth Cup's going on. So I've not been on the bench for any of the Youth Cup games. I'm now injured for about a few weeks, and I was the whole FA Youth Cup thing was the hardest part, because I went from the year before being a number one, then not even being, I was without a doubt, I was always going to start. So I was even playing. I was on the bench for the Youth Cup at 16s.
So was John playing now?
John played the first game, and he got injured again. But instead of putting me in, they put the first year in. And I like the first year keeper, but he was 6'5", and not of a standard. Let's be honest. If I'm honest with you, he wasn't of a standard. And any of my mates who were playing, great guy, could pull off a world, he'll do something brilliant, but it wasn't consistent enough to be of a standard. And we all knew
you could game.
But yeah, he played a few. Then we kept going through. I wasn't even in the squad. I wasn't even on the bench for any of this.
So
from being on a bench, from playing FA Youth Cup, being on the bench in FA Cup at 16s.
Yeah.
When we got to the semi-finals, we lost to Man City.
To not having...
So then the first year being a number one, to then not being... And the year where you should be nailed on. I made my under-18s debut at under-15s. We won 3-0 at home to Fulham. And I'd been 18s for 4 years now. And the age where I'm the oldest out of everyone, I'm nowhere near it.
Yeah.
Nowhere near it. But anyway, John got injured. Ryan got injured. No, John got injured. Ryan wasn't even injured. John just got injured. And it was the quarterfinals. We played Birmingham. I was done with my day training. And the goalie coach came up to me and said, Ferg, obviously it's the UK Cup in a couple of days next week. Do you want to play? Ryan's fit, but if we're honest, we'd rather you play. So we need to win this game. We're in the quarterfinals. So now they're saying to me, play. So I've gone from not being in the squads, not being anything.
Scratching the head right now.
So now I'm being told to play in this game of high magnitude. And I just said to him, I said, look, I'll be honest, I need to think about this. I haven't played. I've hardly played football this year. I've just been training.
Yeah.
Mentally, I'm all over the shop.
Yeah, of course.
And I spoke to my dad, and I was like, Dad, I don't want to play. I don't know. Adamant. I was like, Dad, I don't want to play. He was like, I don't want to play. And he was like, Ferg, whose career is this? Is it your career? Or is it Norwich's career? Norwich are part of your career. If you don't play in this game, it's not going to affect them to a certain degree, because they'll have another production line of players now, have FA Youth Cup next year. But this is your second year. This is your last high-profile game. Why wouldn't you do it?
Very true.
It's only affecting you.
Very true.
And I was that was the moment I was like, I listen to my dad to anything. So I was like, okay, I'll do it. So I sat down and we had a half an hour talk with my goalie coach about it. And originally I said to him, I wasn't going to do it. Yeah. And at this point he was like, well, I'll be honest, mate, if you weren't going to do it, I can't see Steve Weaver keeping you here. He would have probably just paid you off and told you to do one.
So the work brain.
But even though I'm coaching, I'm training, I'm doing everything around
the right attitude.
Yeah.
All the way
I wasn't
through.
sulking. I wasn't doing. I was just getting on with it. And then he was like, I don't think. It was like, okay, I don't think Steve Weaver would want you here if you don't play in this game. And I told him I've had a conversation with my dad and I'll do it. And he was like, good, I appreciate that. At the end, he was like, okay. And then we played West Ham. Played in that game just to give me a few minutes before. And we played Youth Cup, and we lost 3-1 in the end. None of us turned up. I don't like to think it was just my fault, but no one turned up. We lost 3-1.
All right.
But it was just that game was snowing, heavy snow. There's the video on YouTube, and it was just you can't even see the pitch at the end.
Pelting down.
But yeah, we lost 3-1, and that was my last game for Norwich. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, as I said to you, I was at digs with 2 kids, who were 4 and 6, and I loved them to pieces. But throughout that second year, I was kind of like, as I said, I was going at 8:30, leave my house at 8, getting back at like 8:30, 9.
So you barely seen them.
Barely seeing them, and I'd get home and then their kids would be up and they'd be screaming. Or maybe I'd come home early at 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock one day where I'm not coaching and the kids are just there, like, I love them to pieces, but they're screaming. And I'm just like, I've already been released and I'm already doing this.
Yeah,
this is happening. I'm this far away from home. I'm like, just like blurring my mind. And there were times where you'd wake up, I'd wake up and I'd be like, why am I doing this? Why am I putting myself through all of this? When I know, like, they could pay me off.
Yeah.
Like, they were in a situation like, oh, we'll pay you off.
Yeah. Did you ever try and put yourself into that position?
Nah, because I love my teammates too much. Two of my boys had done it.
Yeah.
Two of my boys had done it. I just didn't
want to do it.
Two players. Two of your friends.
Yeah, Brandon Oddy, he left to go Crystal Palace.
Okay.
So he signed off and straight away.
Yeah.
He's now in America, but who'd gone straight away. So they were willing to let me go, but the people around me, my teammates, I didn't want to go. I didn't want to leave, and I wanted to see it out. But there were days where you think to myself, like, why am I putting myself through all this mentally?
Of course.
But it's not like somebody at the club's going, you have sports psychologists there at Norwich who are employed by Norwich, but you really,
they're not.
Are they just there to get a paycheck? But how much do they really care about you as an individual?
Yeah, definitely.
Like, if they were here, if weren't getting paid by Norwich, would you come up to me and put your arm around me and go, everything's going to be okay?
Yeah.
Would you do that? I doubt it.
You know what? There's a woman at West Ham at the moment. I don't even know if I should say your name, but I will. Called Laurie, and that's what she does. And I salute you, because my son still talks to her now on a outside, and she helps him with his football mentally. And I'm saying he never had that before, and he didn't have that person, and he didn't feel that he might have been able to talk to me per se, or his mum, or anybody. And she's cracked something. She cracked something, and he still continues to talk to her now, and he hasn't been in West Ham for like 2 years.
Yeah. My goalie coach, who I was helping out do sessions for, because he had a lot on his back, I thought, Tom, like, I'll do it for you.
Yeah.
I asked him. I texted him after I left Norwich, and I said, I was doing like a summer activities camp, and I texted him saying, "Do you mind being a reference?" He said, "Yeah, fine, I'll do it, whatever." Like, cool. And then I gave it forward to the job, and then a month later, the person at the job, my new job, texted me saying, "I haven't received a reply from this person." So I texted him saying, "I know it's busy, I know it's pre-season. Do you mind doing it? If not, can you just let me know so I can get someone else?" And
yeah,
he
100%.
completely ignored the message. And that was one example. Another example was David Wright called me like a month or 2 months after I'd left Norwich saying, "How are you? Like, is everything okay?" I was, "Oh, it's nice of you to check I am." That was the last phone call I heard. And you realise that you're only ticking boxes for player welfare. Like, they brought in this thing about player welfare, and they've brought in this thing about doing this.
It's Ofsted.
It's not because they want to. It's
just
because
ticking boxes.
they have to.
Yeah, they have to.
I look at my own son, and the man phoned me today. And he phoned me, he goes, "Oh, well done on what happened, well done. I've been on the route, I've seen him from the bottom. He's helped me. Yeah. Watching him has helped me to be a better coach, because certain things I saw with him has made me understand about other boys." And I'm saying, and I said, yeah, because it's growth, it's understanding. And that's why even before we started this and we was talking about certain things, and that's what it is. It's their understanding and their growth as the Premier League, as a club, to understand the welfare of these boys during the time they've got them, and also after.
Definitely.
After, because listening to Fergal's story, you can hear the ups and downs, great ups. So I going to West Ham, that's an up. Coming out of West Ham, it's not really a down, but you know. Do you know what I mean? Then you go up again, you're playing again. Then you go to Luton. So dad's buzzing. V family's buzzing. Yeah. So that's another up. Then you go to Norwich. So you're still climbing on that up stage. You go to Norwich for 2 years and everything is buzzing. Of
course.
Then you get to an area like your first year and then everything starts to change. And when it's changing, there's no discussions, there's no conversations, there's no real meetings. Do you understand? What's happening is you're analysing it, you're assuming it, And then they're having a meeting after. So every time in that scholar, there was no praise. Or there was praise, but then as soon as there was praise, it was down again.
Yeah.
So, oh, Fergal, you done well there. Then you're not playing.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden you're playing for Wales. And for me, you're playing for your country. From the moment you're playing for your country, your club has to kind of think twice. Like, oh, we've got a talent
100%.
Yeah.
Because the country,
Yeah.
Scouts from the country are looking. The management within the country has said, you know what, I'd take him again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we've got a talent here. Then again, in 6 months, you're telling him.
Within 6 months, you know.
No, but it was 6-7 months. He's gone into pre-season, going to Exeter, wanting to go to Exeter. Yeah. They're saying, yeah, he's doing all right. He's come back. They said, no. No.
Mm-hmm.
No, brother, no. No, brother, no. Yeah, so again, you stopped him again. When he's on another rise, you know, because Exeter's another rise. Do you know what I mean? Because we don't know what that could have carried. So Exeter was another, they shut that down. Yeah, and then they shut that down, then to tell him, you know what? You're not really my cup of tea.
Yeah.
And that's why I said, where was the welfare? As we were speaking before, where was the welfare? Where was the psychologist for that? Where were these people on site for you at that time? Because you're going in, like you said, I love the kids, but I'm going into a whole family thinking I could kill someone there. And that's not because of them, but because of what you're going through outside.
The situation you've been put through.
Do you get me? Because inside, everything's cool. Like, you haven't got a problem with the family, but outside, you've got issues with the situation and you've got no one to really communicate with. That's there. All your communication is 2.5 hours away.
Yeah.
All of your close-knit is 2.5 hours away. If they can come, Dad can come. Like, I could come for my boy. But you've got no one there that you feel that you can trust. You can talk to the boys and that's all good. But someone within the club to trust. And then, which I think is the major of this story, how do you go to an academy and go through four academy managers?
I loved football. I played for 3 international teams. I played for Cat 1 since I, for 5 years. I've done a transfer, like under 13s. I loved football.
Of course, yeah.
I was doing every weekend, and we had Saturday games. I played my games for under 18s in my first year. If it was quick enough, me and my dad would shoot. We missed the first half of Luton game, but we'd still be there. I loved football.
Yeah.
How can I go from loving football so much to then having no interest in carrying on? No interest.
Because of the people around you.
Yeah.
I'm not saying your intermediate network.
Yeah,
it's
no.
just I'm saying the people around you, so coaches, all of those kind of things. And their influence is massive.
Yeah.
Like, and people don't understand that. And that's another thing that parents don't understand. When they do that, all right, let's do this full-time module, which they offer you, which, full-time, hybrid, part-time.
Yeah, because we had Darren Huckabee, his son was in the academy at under 14s, and he was a good mate of mine. He got released about a year or so. But his name was Tom, and he came up to me, he goes, I was speaking to my dad yesterday, and he said, you're definitely going to get a pro. He said, you're definitely going to become a professional footballer. Talking about how Darren was saying this to him. And obviously, Darren was my coach throughout. Steve Weaver comes in, sacks Darren, and
change again.
Everybody who trusted me, everyone who believed in me, everyone had been through the international, had been through the England, they're all gone. There was no one to back me then.
Yeah, and that's what it was. And I think, again, I love that, what you just said. That last bit, I love it. Because a lot of parents don't understand that. You are that backative for your child against them. And when I say them, the club, you are that buffer. Because if you are not willing to ask questions, if you are not willing to say certain things to them, then this is what happens. Because when you have the full-time module, and this is not saying it to any person or anyone that does it, so it's no disrespect because I've done it. So it's not to say that I'm here saying to someone, don't do it. I've done it. What I'm saying is you have to understand what you're allowing when you do allow that full-time module. Number one, you're not there. You're only there once a week. Yeah? As a parent. And that's Saturday when they play their game.
Straight, yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Other than that, you're not there. Even the week, if you're in a part, like, for an example, Fergal, if you did a part-time or a hybrid and you played in London, your interaction with your dad would be more.
No, but I agree. Like at Luton, my mum and dad would come
We're there.
every session. But
Exactly.
then I go to a boarding school. Even at training, I have no one at training
Exactly.
to watch how training's going.
Do you understand what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. The buffer's not there.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. Certain kids are ready.
Certain kids
are ready. And I'm not even going to deny. You know, like, certain kids are saying, well, you could leave at 12.
Yeah.
You're ready. Like, you're just ready. Like, mindset's ready.
But there's
certain other kids
just nowhere near.
No. They're not ready, and they need you as the parent.
Even when they get to like that
ask.
early pros, 17, 18, they're still not ready.
Some of them
they're not ready.
But some of them just aren't.
Yeah.
Do you get what I
That's
mean?
how it goes.
It's just the path. Do you know? And that's why with them, they had Fergal. Do you know what I mean? They had him. He was away.
Yeah.
Like, so they constructed how things go. I see this at clubs now. When a parent's not involved, like a parent could be involved up until 16th. And as soon as they get to that first year and it's full time and it's on the club now, then how big's the triangle? It gets very tight at the top of it.
Yeah, so I left Norwich and obviously I had these contracts on the table and I just didn't bat any eyelid about it. But I made the decision to go to university. And at the time I had two opportunities to go to university. Loughborough, which probably everyone knows about, like the best in the world for sport.
Yeah.
And they were like, yeah, come, like, we'll take you, like, happily, like. But I went to a trial day at Loughborough and I said to myself, I don't really want this because it was too like a professional club.
Is it like that, yeah?
You train every day, you play in a non-league system, you play on bucks or like university on a Wednesday, but it's very much like an academy. So you're gymming, you have sports scientists, you have physios, and it's very much like that, which is good for some people, but for my mindset, I'd come from that. I didn't want that.
Yeah.
Do you know, I'll take these, if I wanted to do that, I'll take the contracts out on the table. But that's not what I wanted. So Ryan Gordon, I don't know if you guys know him. He was he was a scout at Norwich back in there. He was one of the ones who scouted me. Okay. When I went for my medical when I was under 14s, he was there. And he took me through my medical at Norwich, helping me out with the physios. And then he took me, he was the head of football at University of East London. So I went there just to kind of get that feeling of being at home again, kind of enjoying my football without any pressures where it's like, come training, you can train with a bunch of lads from London. Like, we're not a big university. We're a good university, but we don't have that profile. We don't have people from everywhere. We're just that. And then, now I'm playing for Wingate and Finchley in non-league. Just kind of not really to for an ambition to become professional. Yeah, but to keep myself fit and just enjoy training. Again, without any pressure. I'm number 2 there. I play when people need me, but the gaffer respects me, and I'm like, I've got a life outside of football. Yeah. I'll be there when you need me. I'll be at every training session, but I don't have the ambitions of everyone else. So if you need me and the keeper gets injured, I'll step in for him happily. Like, he knows where I am, and that's why I have a lot of respect for him. But that's me at the moment.
That's decent. Yeah.
So with those hurdles that you've come over, with the bricks being thrown at you and you're swerving and dodging, what would be your advice to a...
What are you saying?
14, him moving to Norwich.
Did you say 14?
No.
Nah, I'd say 16.
16.
I'd say the
Fergal, because they've already put down the you have to grow stuff. Yeah.
So I want to know that that 16 going into that first year.
I don't know.
What advice would you give
that Fergal?
That's about to
it's a very tough question, because when I was growing up, doing my scholarship, I felt like I did everything. Like, I'd go out after training, I'd train for 2 hours afterwards, just working on my kicking. Yeah. Like clipping the ball. So I did give myself the exertion and I did my pt2 work to my full. I did everything to my full. But one thing I'd say to any kid growing up is, don't fear exploiting your weaknesses. And what I mean by that is, a lot of kids nowadays, they may have a bad weak left foot. And in a game, they won't ever use their left foot because they're scared of that person laughing. They're scared of that person judging them, and they're scared of the pressure. Yeah. Like, your kid could be a wonder kid, but he has a bad left foot. So every time he goes to the right, and that left foot ain't getting better because he's known to be a wonder kid. Yeah. And so if he's using on his left foot and he goes out for a throw in, he's gonna get judged. You know, what that left foot shot you did there? But he's working on it. And for me, it was always in the gym. Like, I couldn't do like the weights that I've always could. I could always do like pull-ups and press-ups, like body weight exercises. Yeah. But I didn't like doing the weights. I didn't enjoy that because I was in an environment where people could lift heavier than me, and I hated that. Yeah. my mindset was like, I don't want him to be better than me, so
Yeah.
I'm just going to pretend I'm not doing it today. Do you know what I mean? And whether that would have helped me through my 2 years, whether I really bulked up instead of being lean and that kind of build, if I really tried to become like a Christy Pym, like a really dominant inside the goal and that kind of figure, maybe that could have helped me. But yeah, that's what my advice would be to myself and to any kid growing up.
I respect that, man.
All right.
I respect that. Listen, Fergal, it's been a pleasure, sir.
I appreciate it so
Really
much.
appreciate that. Was the hot seat's really hot because you've been sitting there for a minute.
Man.
But nah, man. All the best with you for the future. Who knows? We might be seeing you on Match of the Day someday. FA Cup debut. You know what I mean?
You know the Wingate and Finchley and the FA Cup, you know.
They might make a little surprise.
Yeah. Might see on the BBC, mate. Yeah.
Knocking out Norwich. But nah, all the best with you.
Thank you.
Father, bless up.
Of course.
Myself, JNR. Chronicles of Football podcast. Add us on all socials.
Remember,
subscribe, like all of that
them
stuff.
Things.
Yeah,
That.
you know how you lot do,
Yeah,
man.
of course.
But yeah, man. Help us help you. Yeah. But yeah, stay blessed. We're out.
Charlton, you'd see me playing for my team, Ep2. It was almost, he was one that made me believe that I had something. David Pleat was in there. David Pleat's gone, how would you feel? You put them off, come and play a game, and then we'll talk. It's better to have two options rather than one. That was one of the reasons going somewhere that had a pathway to the first team. Playing in 17s and 19s, sometimes it can be that false hope because you could be there training with them but also be nowhere near it. I broke my leg. One of them always used to say to me, like, if you're injured, you're useless. Like, you're no use to them.